Hello guys, this is still Emmanuel Nyeuchi. Welcome to today's video. So in this video we're going to be learning about the World Wide Web, how it works. Okay, this video is meant to actually give you the blueprint of how the internet or the online world we have today, how it's all played out, how it's all built, like how it's enabled to give an end user access to it. So understanding this is like more of an advanced people who actually get to dig into this topic are people who are into website development, designing. And because if you understand this, building websites today to me is going to be like a simple art for you, because this is just the picture, this is just it, this is just how every website you see online actually are made possible. Okay, so this is actually what we are going to be learning in this video. So if you have been following through this this course, in case you are watching this video on YouTube, okay, you can access this the previous lessons in this course. Just go to my YouTube channel and search for computer networking and internet basic course. Okay, you find is a playlist. You find all the videos that is attached to this basic internet and computer networking course, so you can follow through them and understand what we have discussed in previous classes. Okay, so in previous classes we have talked about brief about internet. We said about I basically talked about the technologies that enables the web as we have it today. So we said internet plays part of that by enabling the global system of interconnected computer that is made available to the public. It is this technology, this is actually where the web actually is built on, okay, on the internet. So internet is part of the technology that enables the World Wide Web. So another thing I talked about was the URL. So the URL is built on the domain name, also known as URI, Uniform Resource Identifier, Uniform Resource Locator. Then also we talked about the technology of HTML. The HTML is built on the server aspect, on developing web page. We are going to understand them much better in a minute. Okay, so also we talked about the HTTP. The HTTP also is built on the web browser. So these are the technologies. So I want us to understand, we have talked about the internet. I want us to understand more about the domain name, the web server, and the web browser, how they are made available and how they actually function. Okay, so let's start with the domain name. Now what is a domain name? Now simply put, a domain name is a unique identifier of an entity on the World Wide Web. Okay, so it's just like a street address in the web. It's a unique name people can use to locate a business, website, blog, okay, on the web. Now what you should know is that every entity you know has a unique name. Okay, if you're watching this on our learning management system, our unique name is Digital Top Notch Academy. If you're watching this on YouTube, their name there is youtube.com. So these are the names that you can use to locate these businesses online. I know now you probably say you have gotten yourself on YouTube without typing youtube.com on your browser or when searching for information, but this is actually a robust system that has been built through the search engine. Okay, a website can be listed for you when you are searching for information on search engine, but by the time you are inside the platform trying to view the document and files that is about that website, you will be actually loading into their unique name. Okay, so that is what the domain name is. It's part of the component that makes the World Wide Web possible. Now, how is the domain name being created? Now, okay guys, so let's learn how domain name is created. Now what you need to know is that domain name is like the phone book of the internet. Now I want you to visualize the phone book in your phone. You know, if you go to your phone book, you have names that you use to remember all your contacts, but if you go into the contact details, you see that the numbers are not always the same. Okay, so this is actually how the domain name server and everything works when it comes to the web. Now what happened is that there is what is known as domain name server. Now what is a domain name server? Domain name server is just like a computer that is connected to the internet. Okay, that computer is always online, is always connected to the internet. Now what happened here is that names are being registered. when this computer has the work of assigning unique identity to any domain name, any name. Okay, so what happened here is that if you're a web developer wants to build a website, if you decide today, now if you're watching this now, you decide to build your own website, some of the things you're going to do is to first of all select a name that you want people to use to identify you on the net. Okay, it can be any extension, it can be any kind of name. Then you are going to go to a business. You are also going to first of all check if that name is available, if someone has not used the name, because you can get a fine name, a lovely name, and you discover that someone has already bought the assets, has already registered that name and is using it for his own business. Or to make sure the name is available. Once it's done, once that name is available, you now go to a company that does the registration. What they will do is that they will register that name and assign it a unique identity to you. So some of the things they do is to give you a unique IP address. This is like the IP address of this computer that has your domain name registered. So what happens is that them that do the registration as well, okay, whenever people are calling upon this IP address, they know that is all about the information about this name. Okay, then link the name with your name with the IP address they are going to be giving you. So this same IP address is also what you're going to be using to link to the web server. We are going to be talking about the web server later on, but the web server is where you store your web files and your web document and everything. So whenever people use their browser, we're also going to be talking about more about browser, but whenever people use their browser to find your name on the web, the web server will say, okay, they are calling upon this IP address. Now the web server is going to direct them that any information you are looking in regards to this name is going to use the IP address to direct to communicate to, okay, this is where the information are stored. So this linking is going to all happen. Then the user is going to now be able to retrieve the information. So that is what happened. So whenever you go and register, whenever businesses register their domain, their unique identifier on the web, they are given, their name is assigned uniquely to them, and also they are given an IP address of the domain server which the name is registered. So this is how the system is being created. Now what you should know about domain name is that they are unique address on the internet. Okay, you can't have more than one domain name anywhere. Okay, and also they are represented with serial numbers known as IP address. Okay, for you are looking at datatopnotchacademy.com, but to the computer communication structure and everything, what they read is the IP address. Remember, in computers, internet reads communicate in IP address. They remember the TCP IP infrastructure we talked about earlier. So they are represented in serial numbers, okay, for easy communication of computer, but for easy reference by users, you have the name itself. Okay, so it's also unique. You can't have more than one domain name out there. You can't have facebook.com again, except the one you already know. You can't have Google. Also this Data Top Notch Academy, you can't find it elsewhere. Someone can have Data Top Notch Academy .ng. That is also they're also made up of extensions. So someone can have Data Top Notch Academy.ng or .org, .info, whatever, but they cannot have the .com again because it's totally claimed by me. So this is actually how the domain name works. Okay, is a unique identifier on the web. No one can have one domain name, and your domain name is unique and it's always registered on a name server, okay, on the internet. So that is it about domain name. Now let's talk about the web server, which is where that deals with the programming language of the web, like where that deals with the files and also how it's made available to an end user. Okay, now what is a web server? A web server is simply a fast computer that is always connected on the internet, and this is actually where the public web documents and files that you want people to have access to, this is where you store it. Okay, so the web server is actually also complicated because there's what we know as the back end and front end. Okay, when you talk about the back end of your web server or website, okay, talk about programming language and softwares, okay, to enable the web server be able to provide document for people to access on the internet. It also makes use of kind of programming language, softwares and all that, but if you are today, for example, being a web developer or designer today, not all web developer and web designer deals with all this complicated aspect of hosting website on the internet, because companies are already doing this. Sometimes all you need to do is just to make decision of the web hosting service provider you want to go for, then and just use content management system like WordPress to develop your website. So in terms of actually programming the website itself, most people don't do it practically, like writing codes and all that, and this is why building website today is much easier. But what you should understand is that the web server is actually what enables people to access web document and web files on the internet. So what happened here is that the once you finish building the website, you store it on the web server. Okay, the web server is also like a computer, like your domain name server, just like big computers that are always connected on the internet. And you store these files there, they will always be there. Also, you link your domain name, that is the domain name you registered, you link it to the web server, so that whenever people are asking for that domain name on the internet, they are going to redirect them to your name server, which is the place where your document is stored. Then people can access the file. So this is actually what happens in totally when people are trying to access document online. So the programming language that enables you build web platform basically initially was HTML. Okay, this is the language that you can use to build the kind of document that can run on your web server. But today you have different kind of advancement and all that, advancement in technology and all that. We have got different kind of programming language that are used to build web platform that also makes it more effective and more efficient for people to even build web platform and also access the internet. So this is actually what happens. Just know that the web server is actually where the web files and web documents that are made available to the general public are stored on the internet. Okay, so if you understand the web server, let's look at the web browser. Now the web browser deals with the hypertext transfer protocol. This is actually what gave birth to the World Wide Web we have it today. Okay, as we have explained this earlier. So the browser is just an application software that enables a user to access the internet. Okay, so browser has technology that enables you access it enables you access computers on the internet with this technology known as hypertext transfer protocol. This technology can communicate through IP address. Okay, so that is what will happen when you come to a web browser and search for, let's say you search for Digital Top Notch Academy. Okay, this technology can communicate to the IP address that is attached to that my name, Digital Top Notch Academy. Once it communicates to it, my domain name server will direct them to my web server, which is where I store all the files that enable my the Digital Top Notch Academy platform. Then as an end user, you'll be able to view the page, the videos, the images, everything. You'll be able to view it on your device that has that browser installed. Okay, this is actually the concept of the web browser. So we have many web browser that you can use today. The Google Chrome, which is actually the top, owned by Google. They occupy the large percentage of the when it comes to web browser out there. Okay, because people mostly search things on Google. Google also has other kind of tools, and their tools are also linked to their web browser. This is actually why they are dominating in terms of the web browser market. Also, you have Microsoft Internet Explorer, owned by Microsoft. This one you'll find it mostly in Apple devices, Mozilla Firefox and Microsoft Edge. So these are web browsers that that can be used to access the web and also access domain name and web files on the internet. Okay, so to put it to wrap it up, this is how the web works. For the web to work, you need an internet, a global system of interconnected computers. Also need a name server, which is where your domain names are being registered, are being assigned a unique identity on the web. Also, you need a website, which is the web document and files and pages that you want the people to access. These things are always developed with HTML, but don't worry, today world you don't need to go into the coding and all that. You can use a content management system like WordPress to create your website and all that. So also you need a web server, which is where you're going to be storing the files you're going to be creating with your HTML code, programming language, or with content management system, whatever. But you need a web server you're going to be storing the files you want people to access publicly. Then also you need a client device, so you need a computer, you need a phone, laptop, whatever, to access the internet. And also you need a browser. Okay, browser is the tools that is going to allow you access the internet. So in this is actually how everything works. This is like your client entails your device and all that. You're going to have a browser installed here. Then once you also have access to the internet, this is the internet, you know, your name server is connected to the internet, your device is connected to the internet, your web server is also connected to the internet. Now if you have a web browser installed in this device, which also connects to the internet, so the web browser has a technology that helps, like I explained earlier, it has a technology that helps it to communicate to the web server and all that. Okay, it can communicate to computer. So once you have a web browser installed in your phone, you type a name. Let's say you type Data Top Notch Academy here. What happens is that your HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is going to read that name, communicate to the name server. The name server will say, okay, if you are looking for any information regards to this name, based on the setup you have also done, you have linked your domain name to your web server. The domain name is going to direct that instruction or that request to your name server. Then the name server is going to retrieve that is going to retrieve that files on this web server where your web document are stored. Then also through the internet communication, also is going to with the HTTP, is going to retrieve that file to your device which you are using to browse the internet. And this is it. You now have that view you have whenever you are accessing a platform. So this is a complicated process that happens. This might sound complicated, but I believe you now have in-depth understanding of how the online world works. Now this is like a more rooted class. This is actually deep. This is actually what I teach my web development student, because you need to understand these things before you can think of starting to build your own web platform. Now once you have this understanding, building websites is very easy. It's just very easy, and you can just set up your own web platform. But basically I want you to understand how the online world works, the web works, because it's with this understanding that you can be able to make the most of it. Okay, so that is it about how the World Wide Web works. I hope this is actually insightful, and I hope you get a lot from it. Okay, if you have questions in any way, direct it to the appropriate channel. If you're watching YouTube, Facebook, you can actually drop your questions in the comment section. If you're watching on our learning management system, just use the question section to ask your questions, and I will be happy to attend to them. Okay, so that is it on this video, and I will see you in the next one.